Good morning, and we're in chapter 25, and I'm going to get into it really quick. One thing is if you're following day by day, you'd find that I've kind of not done it for the last couple of days. One is it's been very busy in the fact that my daughter turned 18. We are celebrating that, and I've had to help her out a little bit with her college work as well. So last 2 days has been very hard to get things done. And it's probably the first time in a couple of years that I've actually not been able to do it on the day sometime. But this is a vlog rather than I don't like get them all ready in one go, spend 2 or 3 hours publishing these and then put one out each day. I do it as I go along. Now, that doesn't mean that I haven't read the scriptures. In fact, I'm well ahead in my scripture reading, and all these markings are here mostly to help as I'm reading it out. And I hope, remember this to me is for my children and my children's children, hopefully, and anybody else that can get benefit from it. So it's not always going to be perfect in your scripture reading and things, but I have found time every day to read my scriptures. I don't know the last time I've missed a day when I haven't opened the scriptures and read some of the Come Follow Me. Certainly in the last 3 years I have not missed a day. But recording's a little bit different because I can read sitting in a noisy airport or at work or something. But filming and doing this is a little bit different. I need to find the quiet time where it's quiet not only for me but for those around me. And so I haven't been able to find that for 2 days. And that's fine. Like I said, this is the first time in a long time that this happened to the point where I'm going to try to catch up in the next few days. I'm going to do a few of these in the next today and tomorrow and maybe Sunday until we're have them all together. So if you're watching it later, it'll all just seem to flow anyway, hopefully. Then again, Abraham took a wife, and her name was Kethra, and he bare him Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shua. And Jokshan begat Sheba and Dedan, and the sons of Dedan were Eshiram and Lesram and Leman. And these sons of Midian, so you got the Midianites, Ephah and Epher and Hanak and Abidah and Elda, all these were the sons of Keturah. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. So even though he had this third wife that had these children, it was Isaac that had, I guess, the birthright as such. But under the sense of the concubines, which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts and sent them away from Isaac his son while he yet lived eastward in the east country. So he still took care of him, but he sent him away from Isaac, probably because he didn't want infighting and things. And there's a thing on concubines, I think, here. What is a concubine? In ancient times, a concubine was a woman within a household who was legally married unto a man, but had a lower legal and social status than a wife. The practice of marrying concubines was not uncommon in ancient Near Eastern culture, particularly in cases when a man's first wife could not bear children. Abraham's known concubines were Hagar, Kenrith, and Kenrith. Jacob received Bilhah and Zilpah as concubines from his wives Leah and Rachel. Latter-day Revelation affirms the Lord approved of these marriages. And then for more information, you can look in why Sarah gave Hagar to Abraham as wife, and we talked about that earlier a few weeks ago. And these are the days of Abraham's life which he lived, 103 score and 15 years, 175 years. When Abraham gave up the ghost and died in a good old age, yes, very old age, an old man full of years, and was gathered to his people. I love how it says and gathered to his people, and that's where we often say that when somebody passes on. And his sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah. So that's where his wife was buried, in the field of Ephraim, the son of Zohar, which is after Mamre. And the field which Abraham purchased of the sons of Heth, there was Abraham buried, and Sarah his wife. And it came to pass at the death of Abraham, God blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac dwelt by the well of Lahairoi, whatever. And now these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid, bare unto Abraham. Now remember, Ishmael and Hagar moved away, but it's going to come back in a little bit. We're going to see, we're going to see the Ishmaelites throughout the time, but his grandson, I think will marry into this, and we'll see that in a few chapters. And these are the names of Ishmael, by their names according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebajoth and Kedar. If I get these wrong, I get them wrong, but also you can see it's not always, you don't have to get everything perfect in the scriptures when it comes to names and things like that. Some names you will. Abraham as one, it seems easy, but think if you would have had Abraham and it was one of these names, it would probably blend in quite easily. Adbil, Midsham, Mishma. I wonder where they get these names. Duma, and Massa, Hadar, and Tima, Jeter, Naphish, and Kedma. Are the 12 sons. These are the sons of Ishmael, and their names by their towns and by their castles, 12 princes according to their nations. And these are the days of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. And he gave up the ghost and died and was gathered to his people. So Ishmael goes as well, 137 years. And they dwelt from Havilah unto Shur, and is before Egypt, and thou goest toward Assyria. And we could draw the maps and things, and it's good sometimes to get out the maps and just look at where these go. And he died in the presence of all his brethren. And these are the generations of Isaac. And Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Assyrian of Pandaram, the sister of Laban, the sister of Laban, the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah his wife conceived, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, If it so be, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. Oh, I don't know how she'd feel about that. I don't know how my wife would feel. 2 nations. I'm just trying to have one child. And the manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days were to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her wombs, and the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. Or we find that Jacob means usurper. And I guess they were just thinking it's like he's trying to take over right then, because they named him Jacob from the beginning. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them, so he's 60 years old. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man. And if you look under that word, it also says perfect, and if you remember, perfect is a whole man, somebody that is doing everything that they the best they can. We'll look at it anyway, because I know it. Complete, perfect, simple, plain. So different meaning when you think of it that way. Dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved. Why did they dwell in tents when they could make houses? Maybe it was the fact that he tended sheep, and the sheep had to move. And I've heard people talk about that, where if there were sheep, farmers back then, they would travel in the spring one way, and in the summer and winter and things, each place they'd go a different place, and so they would have to dwell in tents or to take the sheep around. Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob, and Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field and was faint. Now, I think it's important that we point out, why did Esau sell his birthright? So we're going to talk about this. They give it away every time at the beginning, but it also makes it so that when we read the scriptures, it gives us more understanding. The account of Esau selling his birthright for pottage concludes with the phrase, "Thus Esau despised his birthright." The Hebrew word translated as despised also means disregarded or disregard. Esau's actions suggest that his immediate bodily needs may have been more important to him than the blessings and the responsibilities of his birthright. Additional examples of Esau's disregard for his birthright are his marriages to the Canaanite women outside the covenant. President Dallin H. Oaks explained Jacob valued the spiritual, while Esau sought things of this world. When he was hungry, Esau sold his birthright for a mess of pottage. Many Esau's have given up something of eternal value in order to satisfy a momentary hunger for the things of the world. And I think that is so important that we see that in our lives. And that's why President Nelson always said, think celestial. Think celestial. Don't think just of this world. If you think celestial, things will be different. And then this other thing is, what is pottage? The Hebrew term for pottage, basically boiled food. So I always think of oats, what we eat in the morning. But obviously it would have been boiled vegetables and things like that, and meat. So it was more like a stew than just cereal as such. Just thought I'd throw that in there too. And Esau said to Jacob, "Feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint." Therefore was his name called Edom. And Edom, just to let you see, means red. So when you talk about the Edomites, this is where we get the Edomites from, and we'll see those in the scriptures as well. And Jacob said, "Sell me this day thy birthright." And Esau said, "Behold, I am to the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright be to me?" So what is a birthright? In the Old Testament, the father was responsible for the temporal and spiritual welfare of his family. When the father died, a son, generally the oldest, would inherit the father's responsibility for the family. These spiritual temporal responsibilities were known as the birthright. The oldest son was often inherited a double portion of the father's possessions, which he was expected to use to help care for the physical needs of the family. Now, there was a great talk, I can't think of it right now. I should have linked it here, about birthrights in General Conference a couple of years ago, where it reminds us that the birthright is a responsibility, and that it's not a privilege. It's not like, oh, I'm going to have this birthright and I'm just going to sit back. It's a responsibility. And we often talk about youth of the noble birthright and all this other stuff in the church. That is what our birthright is. And when we talk about the covenants of Abraham and we see that we'll bless the world, that is part of that responsibility. And Jacob said, "Swear unto me this day." And he swore unto him and sold him his birthright unto Jacob. When Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. I'm going to do each of these chapters, which means I'm probably going to have more than 7 think I probably have 10 videos for this week. But I'm going to cut them up because it's just kind of easier this way. So I hope you got something from this. Notice how Esau, it's really interesting because we're getting this Esau despising his birthright and really just kind of throwing it away. And Jacob being the level head and thinking, I can get something from this. It almost seems like Jacob is being manipulative, but at the same time, he's only taking what Esau's throwing away, basically. And Esau is quite happy to give it to him. So let's see what else happens with these brothers in the next little while.